I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Certainly. Supervisor Moore?
Here.
Councilwoman McNamara?
Here.
Councilman Iacilli?
Here.
Councilman Powell?
Yeah.
Councilman Martell?
Here.
Thank you. All right.
We're all
Let's
here.
go forward with the agenda review of for the next meeting on December 9th.
Madam Supervisor, before we get started, would you mind if I just said a couple of things about our new system?
Oh, sure.
I did send you all an
You
email
did.
with an eScribe agenda, the new agenda management system that we're moving forward with. We all came to an agreement with the primary users and such that we were going to roll it out live on the first regular town board meeting, not at the organizational meeting, but this time around with the agenda, we also sent you the eScribe agenda so that you could look at the two of them. There are some similarities, but there's, some differences as well. So we just want you to get accustomed, with this new agenda so that when we roll it out, it's not unfamiliar for you. So we will be sending those each week with, each meeting with the minute track agenda as well. We did have a meeting with the primary users. Janice was with us to discuss the functionality to make sure that everybody was comfortable with the rollout, and it was very productive, and we have some additional upgrades we're going to request, but we will be ready to roll out. I believe it's the January 13th meeting, and we'll be good to go. If anybody needs any training, I know some of you have had some, or you have any questions or concerns, please let me know so that we can vet them out in advance.
Are we doing electronic voting at that meeting, or?
No.
Okay.
No, we're still paper.
Okay.
But we will be doing a lot of things electronically. We might be taking the votes and other things electronically. So we're going to see how it goes. But I think it's going to be a huge success. There's going to be, a learning curve for the public as well. We're going to have training videos online. We will also, be able to field questions from my office if anybody needs assistance to go through the process. We will certainly be there to help them. So I just, there will be a little bit of a learning curve for the public too with the search capabilities and such. But we're going to be prepared for that and ready to assist with anybody who needs help.
So now we get the summary resolutions.
It's different
first,
because this is
and then
really
the full-
an electronic-based management system, which we are having customized to be able to continue with the paper agendas that we're accustomed to at this point. At some point, we can transition, but we didn't want to do all of that at once because I thought it would be a little bit too much to undertake during one transition, so.
Well, it looks nice. Good luck.
Well, thank you. I'm hoping we're all going to have a lot of luck. I think it'll be fine, and, we've worked very hard to get to this point, so I think it's the best product that we can put forward at this time.
And thank you for working on it.
Our pleasure. Been a long haul.
Okay. All right, so for the December 9th, we're going to have 7 public hearings. The first is to consider the use of community housing funds for the acquisition of a disability housing deed restriction. The second public hearing is to repeal Chapter 330, Article 5A, entitled Affordable Housing Overlay District, Section 29.1 to 29.11, and rename it Article 6A to the Community Housing Fund Overlay District, and replace Sections 29.1 to 29.10 with updated standards in order to coordinate zoning procedures with the town's process for Community Housing Fund approvals. And that's a continuation of the prior public hearing. The third public hearing is to demolish the old public safety building located at the Jackson Avenue complex in Hampton Bays. The fourth public hearing is to amend Town Code Chapter 123, Building and Construction, Article 2, Building Code Administration, Sections 123-10, Issuance of Building Permit, and 123-11, Effective Period of Building Permit. The fifth public hearing is to amend Chapter 312, Vehicle and Traffic, for the purpose of removing 3 yield intersections in Hampton Bays south of Montauk Highway, and the fifth corresponding public hearing is to amend Town Code Chapter 312, Vehicles and Traffic, to add 3 new stop signs in Hampton Bays south of Montauk Highway. And the seventh and final public hearing is for a local law to enact a new Article 6B entitled Hotel Development Overlay within Chapter 330 of the Town Code, and to add Sections 34.5 through 34.10 to enable the discretionary review of small-scale tourist accommodations in highway business zoning districts. So, Town Board Resolution ID number 51622 is to authorize the comptroller to pay Moody's Investors Service Corp. as it relates to the 2025 Town of Southampton credit rating for its public improvement serial bonds. Town Board Resolution ID number 51662 to authorize purchases from WB Mason Company Incorporated using the Suffolk County and Eastern Suffolk BOCES contracts. Town Board Resolution ID number 51625, co-sponsored by Councilwoman McNamara, to authorize purchases of unmanned vehicle systems for Adventure LLC using the Sourcewell contract.
Town Board Resolution ID, oh, sorry.
Sorry. Just for drones, so people don't think we're having unmanned vehicles.
Town Board Resolution ID 51657, co-sponsored with Councilman Martell. Authorize supervisor to sign a contract extension for furnish and deliver meter pits with Ferguson Waterworks and T-Minus Supply LLC.
Town Board Resolution 51660, authorize supervisor to sign contract extension with Ecotech Management LLC for electronic waste removal, recycle, or disposal program.
Town Board Resolution ID 51659, co-sponsored with Councilman Martell. Authorize supervisor to sign a contract extension with York Analytical Laboratories, Inc. to provide water analysis to the Hampton Bays Water District.
Town Board Resolution 51653, authorize supervisor to sign a contract with L.K. McLean Associate Engineer and Survey, DPC, professional engineer design and permit and service for Bay Drive, Hampton Bays bulkhead replacement. Town Board Resolution 51661, authorize supervisor to sign contract with Pavement Service, Inc. for multiple project plan and pavement service to be provided to the Highway Department. Town Board Resolution 51652, authorize supervisor to sign a no contract extension with L.K. McLean Associate Engineer and Survey, DPC, for professional engineer design and permit and service for Baycrest Avenue, West Hampton bulkhead replacement.
If I just could on this, I believe that it should say no cost contract. Throughout the rest of the resolution, it says no cost, so if it's
Yeah.
okay, I think
Okay.
Yes,
for
please.
searchability, it should say no cost.
Thank you for picking that out.
Town Board Resolution ID 51687, authorize supervisor to sign contract extension with Coastal Commercial Property Management, Inc. for irrigation maintenance and repair.
Town Board Resolution ID number 51648, co-sponsored by the entire board, to authorize supplemental funding allocation for the Town of Southampton Highway Department water quality improvement projects entitled Rose Hill Road Improvement, Shore Road and Yacht Club Drive Improvements, Halsey Road, and Tanner's Neck Lane Improvements for the 2025 Community Preservation Fund 20% water quality improvement project funding. Town Board Resolution ID number 51631 to authorize the purchases of emergency road tire service and tires, passenger cars, light, medium, and heavy-duty trucks, off-road equipment using Suffolk County contracts with Barnwell House of Tires.
Town Board Resolution ID 51683, authorizes the supervisor to execute a 2026 stewardship agreement with Alan Schneider to provide security services at Squiretown Park in Hampton Bays. Town Board Resolution ID 51684, authorizes the supervisor to execute a 2026 stewardship agreement with Patricia Obi to provide security services at Ludlam Park in Riverside.
Town Board Resolution 51685, co-sponsored with Councilman Martell, authorize the supervisor to execute a 2026 support agreement for MRI Software LLC for the Town of Southampton Housing Authority for the administration of the Town Housing Authority's Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Program.
Town Board Resolution ID 51658, co-sponsored with Councilwoman McNamara, authorize the supervisor to execute a contract extension with Eagle Control Corp. As sole source provider for the supply of constant chlor briquettes to perform services and routine maintenance and SCADA upgrades to the constant chlorinator at the Hampton Bays Water District.
Town Board Resolution 51654, authorize the supervisors to execute a no-cost contract extension with L.K. McLean, Associate Engineer and Survey DPC for engineer design and permit and service for Bay Avenue East, Hampton Bays. Town Board Resolution 51655, authorize the supervisor to execute a no-cost contract extension with L.K. McLean, Associate Engineer and Survey DPC to provide engineer and design, permit, and construction support service for the replacement of jobs of Lane Bridge in Bridgehampton.
Town Board Resolution ID number 51686, co-sponsored by Councilwoman McNamara, to authorize the supervisor to execute any and all documents with Quan Software Engineering, Inc., doing business as Veripic, Inc., to upgrade Veripic software.
Town Board Resolution 51642, authorize the supervisor to sign a contract extension with Parkline Abstract Maintenance, Inc. for application of crack sealer.
Town Board Resolution ID 51681, authorizes supervisor to sign an agreement with Heather Rollo for fitness classes. Town Board Resolution ID 51682, authorizes supervisor to sign an agreement with Patricia Tizzolo for fitness classes. Town Board Resolution ID 51677, award and authorize supervisor to sign contract with Maximum Motorsports LLC for activity vehicles.
Town Board Resolution ID number 51601, co-sponsored by Council members McNamara and Pell, to declare items surplus and to authorize the disposal of vehicles and equipment.
Town Board Resolution ID 51628, co-sponsored with Councilman Martell, recall and amend Resolution 2025-644, award and authorize supervisor to sign contract with Delta Well and Pump Company Incorporated for district-wide well and pump maintenance, repair, and upgrades at the Hampton Bays Water District.
Town Board Resolution 51693, recall and amend Town Board Resolution 20241492, award and authorize supervisor to sign contract with Passport Lab, Inc. for furnished and installed integrated parking management. Town Board Resolution 51608, 2026 notice to bidders and dispose and recycle service for mixed paper and corrugated cardboard.
Town Board Resolution ID number 51649, co-sponsored by Councilwoman McNamara, a 2026 notice to bidders for dry cleaning and laundry services. Town Board Resolution ID number 51675, to amend the 2025 budget for various departments. Town Board Resolution ID number 51692, to amend the 2025-2029 capital budget for Investigation Emergency Response Unit. That's for the fire investigations.
Town Board Resolution 51603, recall and amend Resolution 2025-589 and 2025-847, authorized retain of Wilson, Elson, Markowitz, Element of Dick LLP.
Town Board Resolution ID number 51700, to appoint Mark McIntyre to the Conservation Board. Town Board Resolution ID number 51663, co-sponsored by the entire board, to authorize the town attorney to accept a settlement from the Hampton Bays Water District share of the partial settlement with DuPont in the aqueous film forming foams products liability class action litigation.
Town Board Resolution ID 51695, notice of adoption of a local law to repeal Chapter 330, Article 5A, entitled Affordable Housing Overlay District, Sections 29.1 to 29.11, rename Article 5A to Community Housing Fund Overlay District, and replace Sections 29.1 to 29.10 with updated standards in order to coordinate zoning procedures with the town board's process for Community Housing Fund approvals.
Madam Clerk, co-sponsor?
Same here.
Myself too, please.
Supervisor?
I'm gonna wait to see the shape that it takes.
Town Board Resolution ID 51696, resolution of adoption amending Town Code Article 4, multifamily plan residential development district as it relates to expiration of approvals.
Town Board Resolution 51602, resolution of adoption amending Town Code Chapter 123, Building and Construction, Article 2, Sections 123 to 10 and 123 to 11.
Town Board Resolution 51664, authorize funding for rebate of the IA septic system with extended circumstances with the 2025 Community Preservation Fund septic rebate monies.
Is this, am I missing something?
Town Board Resolution 51623, authorize waiver of Parks and Recreation Facility use fee for the Village of East Quogue Beautification Committee holiday tree lighting ceremony on Saturday, December 6th, 2025. Town Board Resolution ID 51624, authorize waiver of Parks and Recreation Facility use fee for the Village of East Quogue Beautification Committee menorah installations and lighting ceremony.
Town Board Resolution ID number 51620 to set the town board meeting dates for 2026.
Wow.
I know, right?
Town Board Resolution ID 51702, waive showmobile and bathroom trailer fee for the East Quogue Fire Department holiday on Main Event.
Co-sponsor?
Co-sponsor that one also.
Myself too. Can we just go back to the 51624 for the dates? Next year's town board meetings.
Yep.
That's just the time, not the locations.
Yeah.
Okay, because I want to make sure that if the voting's done in West Hampton, we have a meeting there.
You're ambitious, maybe
Yes.
the December meeting.
Yes, we want to break the building in.
Oh, it does say the resolve clause is at town hall.
Oh, but we can always amend it, right?
Otherwise noticed.
Yeah,
What?
unless
Okay.
otherwise noted.
Otherwise notice.
I
Okay.
have to change those on the
Because
fly.
Nick promised that it's going to be done.
2027, first meeting.
Yeah.
Is this the first town board meeting at December?
In December.
2027.
No. We want to break the building in correctly.
Town Board Resolution ID number 51671 to accept the retirement of Patrick Mullen, maintenance mechanic in the trustees. Town Board Resolution ID number 51715 to appoint a hearing officer for Highway Department. Town Board Resolution ID number 51616, co-sponsored by Councilmember Iacilli, to appoint Jacqueline Risch to accountant trainee position in the Comptroller's Office. Town Board Resolution ID number 51691 to appoint Jesse James to Senior Electrical Inspector position from the Civil Service list. Town Board Resolution ID number 51615 to appoint Carrie Papo to Principal Office Assistant position in Land Management Planning Division. Town Board Resolution ID number 51712 to authorize the town supervisor to sign a stipulation of agreement with the CSEA. Town Board Resolution ID number 51713 to authorize the town supervisor to sign a stipulation agreement with CSEA. And Town Board Resolution ID number 51672 to terminate an employee in municipal works. And Town Board Resolution ID number 51714 to terminate an employee in municipal works. And Town Board Resolution ID number 51651, co-sponsored by the entire board, To schedule a public hearing to consider the acquisition of 1950 Meadow Lane in the village of Southampton and to amend the CPF project plan and the CPF management and stewardship plan to include the property. And that public hearing is going to be on January 13th.
Town Board Resolution 51699, resolution to set a public hearing to amend Code Chapter 312, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 6, turn movement, Section 312-72.2, right turns forbidden.
This is to assist with the program that
Yes.
Charlie's doing on 39, right?
Yes.
So that's why we not having a work session, we just
Yeah.
need to
We can move it along.
move it along, okay.
If it doesn't work, we can always go back.
Town Board Resolution ID number 51707, co-sponsored by the entire board, to authorize the acquisition of 11 West Shore Drive in the hamlet of North Sea, New York, and to amend the CPF project plan and the CPF management and stewardship plan to include the property. Town Board Resolution ID number 51406, co-sponsored by the entire board, to authorize the acquisition of 185 Widow Gavitz Road in the hamlet of Sag Harbor and to amend the CPF project plan and CPF management and stewardship plan to include the property. That's not the one that needed further consideration, is it? I guess it wouldn't be on here if we, remember Jackie had us withdraw something last time?
That was an East Qual.
That was a historic facade.
Okay. Oh, right. Town Board Resolution ID number 51709, co-sponsored by the entire board, to authorize the acquisition of 51 Beach Plum Road in the hamlet of Noyak, New York, and to amend the CPF project plan and CPF management and stewardship plan to include the property. Town Board Resolution ID number 51708, co-sponsored by the entire board, to authorize the acquisition of 87 Shore Drive in the hamlet of North Sea, New York, and to amend the CPF project plan and the CPF management and stewardship plan to include the property. Town Board Resolution ID number 51680, to recall and amend Resolution 2025-1293 for Christian Leno, Suffolk County Tax Map number as indicated in Hampton Bays is accepted. Always written so oddly. Town Board Resolution ID number 51676, a road review application for Kamacutico 1 LLC at Suffolk County Tax Map number as indicated, situated in North Sea, is accepted. Town Board Resolution ID number 51678, road review application for Mark and Kristen Dracos, Suffolk County Tax Map number as indicated, situated in Tuckahoe, is accepted. Town Board Resolution ID number 51679, road review application for Sean Egan, Suffolk County Tax Map number as indicated, situated in Hampton Bays, is accepted. And then we have 3 add-ons. Town Board Resolution ID number 51670, to authorize a funding match for the Town of Southampton Environmental Facilities Corporation Clean Vessel Assistance Program for the 2025 Community Preservation Fund, 20% water quality improvement project funding. Town Board Resolution ID number 51710, to authorize the supervisor to execute an intermunicipal agreement for the establishment of the Peconic Bay Region Advisory Committee and the Office of Regional Community Preservation Fund Council, and to retain the legal services of Mary Wilson Esquire.
Cindy, I'll be added to that, please.
And then the third add-on is Town Board Resolution ID number 51718, to authorize the supervisor to sign a letter of intent. I'd like to say decline instead of deny. To decline funding from the New York State Department of Transportation for the Noyak Road pedestrian enhancement under the Transportation Alternatives Program. Just to change that in the heading to decline. And Janice, was there going to be a resolution on here for that working waterfront appointment?
And the information back from Ann Walker. I emailed her again this morning.
For what?
I need more information.
Noyak spelled wrong.
For the resolution? To appoint him? Okay, all right, maybe we could, I mean, they were saying they need it right away, so maybe they can do it as a, they could do it as a walk-on if they need it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's a 2-year term, but,
need to
but it's, I mean, I'm sorry, it's a 4-year term, but it doesn't say when it starts, it doesn't say when it stops.
Oh,
So, you know, I just want to
yeah,
nail a few
if she
things
doesn't
down.
get back, Commissioner Lansdale was also involved with that, so she might have.
Sunday, if you could just make a quick change to the last walk-on, Noyak Road should be.
No K.
No K.
I'm sorry.
Road has a K.
Road has a K, yeah.
Yeah. That's very interesting. I never knew that.
Some people,
All right, so
people
leave it.
don't have it
No,
with
but
it
it
or
is,
without.
yeah, I think it has
Yeah.
a K for the road, but not the
Okay.
hamlet.
Interesting.
Is it right or not?
I've seen it spelled both ways, you know, I just wonder if someone.
It's okay the way it is.
So
I
wrong.
was never right.
Change the word.
Central Island or something, Central RE.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So our next topic is the Jackson Avenue Master Concept Plan presentation. And Tom and Nick are here with us in person, and we've got Arcadis, the team from Arcadis is gonna be on Zoom. And,
Original stamps like the road original. And the rest are all stamped copy. So.
I think that's the first time in my 4 years somebody's actually done that.
there's a couple
Well, I'm
of
set our town clerk.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
No, you don't.
He's done right.
you.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that very much.
You're welcome. Look along, Dennis.
Money on color for these things.
So as you all know, we approved the appointment of Arcadis to do a conceptual layout for us of the Jackson Avenue property that the town owns. And they put together an incredible team of people to work on this with us. And they met with each department head, they toured each department's facilities, and they've designed 3 options or proposals for us to review and discuss today. So they're gonna walk us through it, and we can ask questions throughout the presentation.
We've been going back and forth for weeks and weeks and weeks since the summer, when we toured Jackson Avenue on probably the hottest day in July.
It was-
We were all sweating. But yeah, we have had a lot of great input from all the parties of the town. We've had individual meetings, like Maria said, and we've really tried to steer this in a direction that we think would be appropriate as employees of the town ourselves, and just trying to figure out the best path forward. So we have a lot of options for you to consider today.
There's a lot of property there, it doesn't seem to be well laid out. The Justice Court, as we all know, needs to be replaced, the police department needs to be replaced, and so why not take a look at the whole property and see what we can do?
And when we set this up with Arcadis, we made sure that the primary objective to this entire study was the replacement of the Justice Court. That is the first thing that must happen, that has to happen, and none of this happens without that happening first. Because if we continue to overlook it, we're gonna fall into the ground at some point, so.
And not only did Arcadis prepare the layouts for us to review, but they also have ideas about funding that'll be important for us to understand. So with that, would you like to do some introductions?
So can you guys hear us okay?
Yes.
Now, can you see us, or are you
Yes.
just looking
Yeah,
at
we can see you
the-
good.
We can
Yeah,
see you.
We can, we have a TV screen.
Oh, okay. So I'm also
But
going
what
to
about
share my screen,
putting
because I
this
know
up
that
on
you
the
have.
screen?
Phil is gonna introduce his team, and then
Okay.
he'll be able to present. Kevin, can we get some additional volume on the TV?
One second here.
Okay, ready when you are, Phil. We've got a full-size presentation up on the screen.
Okay, you can see Jackson Avenue Civic Master Plan up on the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I wanted to, hold on one second, something's not working on my end.
Okay, we can't really hear that well, so
Yeah,
can
we do a
he
little
jack it up more?
Speaker volume. think it's coming out of the ceiling and not necessarily the TV.
Okay, should we start?
Yes, please.
All right, well, I wanted to thank everybody for taking the time out this morning to meet with us. My name's Phil Colleran. I'm the Principal and Practice Group Manager for US East Placemaking at Arcadis, and we're going to introduce our team here in just a second. I will say it was very interesting hearing the very tail end of your board presentation there. I think you guys do some great work, and we've really enjoyed working with Maria Moore and Tom Houghton and Nick Jimenez and John Ortiz throughout the process. As I think Tom just mentioned, we started this process back in July, where we toured the Jackson Avenue site. We met with all of the people that work in the facilities. We toured the facilities all over the town, not only at the Jackson Avenue site, to get an assessment of what we would be placing into a proposed new civic master plan. So we're going to go over some introductions today. We're going to talk about the site, what led us to this master plan framework. As Maria had just alluded to, we have 3 design concepts to run through. We're going to look at some potential architectural character, look at our sustainability considerations, and give you guys an idea about where that is heading as we move forward in this process. And then we'll talk about our grant funding overview and next steps. And just so you know, this is stage 3 of this process. Stage 1 was our initial fact-finding mission, where we went out to the site and toured the facilities, met with all the user groups, had some great meetings on that end. We had stage 2, where we did some very high-level initial conceptual thinking based on the findings that we found in stage 1. So stage 3 is where we did our idea portion of this project. So this is where we've put 3 options on the board, and the goal here is to review these with you and then come away with what you like, what you don't like, and in stage 4, we'll coalesce this down into one comprehensive option. So this is our team. I just introduced myself. I'm Phil Colleran. I'm just going to have everybody introduce themselves very, very quickly. So James, if you want to lead it off, and then we'll just move right across the screen. James, you're muted.
First time Zoom. No. My name is James Cross. I'm a landscape architect with Arcadis. I've worked here under several different companies for about 25 years. I am the project manager of the project, and very happy to be here presenting this morning.
Okay, Nikki.
Hi, I'm Nikki Castillo, and I'm an architect with Arcadis. I've been with Arcadis for 6 years, and I've been working in the industry for 12. I'm working as an architectural advisor on this project on both programming and the architectural character.
Great. Kong.
Good morning. My name is Kong. I have been with Arcadis for 13 years, and I will be acting as the project architect. Thank you.
Nikita.
Hi everyone, my name is Nikita Malvia. I'm the planner and GIS expert on the project, and with Arcadis about 5 years now. I'm really happy to see everyone.
And Nicolette.
Hi everyone, I'm Nicolette Wagner. I'm a senior funding consultant with Arcadis, and I'm overseeing the funding strategy for the project.
Great. And we do not have Matt Yonkin, but Matt is going to be responsible for our sustainability and green energy formatting. As part of stage 4, we'll be looking at some energy modeling, how we're going to power the site, and different levels of sustainability associated with the new campus master plan.
And Rachel's not with us today.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I miss Rachel?
Sorry.
Rachel. Oh my God. Rachel's like one of the most important people in the room. I'm sorry. Rachel.
No problem. Good morning, everyone. I'm Rachel Vess. I'm an urban designer and planner. I'm sort of bringing the Canadian insight to this project. I'm based in Toronto for Arcadis, and I've been with Arcadis for about 8 years now. Great to meet everyone.
Rachel, I'm so sorry. Rachel is one of the most important people on the team, too. Just for those who don't know Arcadis and you don't have this in your pamphlet, I kind of just added this in because I thought, well, maybe some people in this room don't know who Arcadis is. So we're one of the world's largest architectural and engineering companies. The company was founded in the Netherlands back in 1888 as a sustainability and water resilience firm. We're consistently ranked as one of the largest firms in the world, with currently 40,000 projects that we've done all over the planet. That being said, we have our values are rooted in sustainability. We bring this lens to each one of our projects. We have a large technology base within the firm, and we try to apply that lens to each one of the projects that we work on that is embedded in research, as well as human-centric design. I mean, these are places that are inhabited by people. They should be people-centric. They should be usable and comfortable spaces. And our expertise, just kind of looking at this and as we approach the master planning, from the places standpoint, it's really the live, work, play aspect. And in this case, how we're going to site the buildings, how we're going to interact with the public open spaces and the connectivity within the site. Within the mobility, how we're going to transform how you move throughout the site, both from the vehicular and pedestrian experience perspective. The intelligence is infusing technology within the site, whether it's things like site security or a parametric design, or things associated with what we're going to be doing with the energy modeling and sustainability, which brings us to the resilience. And that's really protection of our environment and creating a natural process to the architectural and master planning as much as we possibly can. Our group here is called Placemaking, and we're one big studio. I mentioned that Arcadis is this very large 36,000 person company, but we really act locally. We've got many local teams. Kong lives an hour from the site. We've got many people on this team that are in New York. So we really try to act like a local firm, even though we're a very large planning and master planning firm, but we really act as one studio with a variety of interdisciplinary strengths to help move the project along. So that being said, looking at the site, so we came out in July to look at the Jackson Avenue site, and look, I think you guys are doing a great thing by proposing this master plan, because really high quality civic facilities along with high quality public spaces, public commons, are really essential to building strong and vibrant communities. And I think we saw that when we were out there in July, that Southampton is an incredibly vibrant community. The thing that's great about this site is you already own the site. You have the land, but the current condition of your buildings are in need of an upgrade, as well as some of the infrastructure associated with that. With the online version of your future sewage treatment plant, it's allowed us with a little bit more space to grow the site. But the need to consolidate the facilities into a high quality future master plan are evident, and we'll be proposing a variety of schemes to expand on that. So I'm going to turn it over to Rachel. She's going to go through the overall master plan framework and the things that we did in our discovery, what informed the master plan, and how we move this through on the current stage. So Rachel, over to you.
Thanks, Phil. Yeah, as mentioned, I'm sure you're very eager to see the concepts, but we wanted to run you through the sort of background data analysis that eventually allowed us to arrive at the concepts you're going to see today. So as mentioned, it started with this very in-depth view of the site itself. We did that site walkthrough back in July. We got to tour all of the town facilities with the department heads. We had a number of stakeholder interviews with these departments and got to really nail down what their ambitions and needs are. And we have, over the last few months, continued to have design workshops and meetings with the town project team, Maria, Tom, Nick, to really refine the concepts and have their feedback drive concepts and the concept development.
Rachel, may I add that we also toured the other facilities of the town? We toured Town Hall, we toured, I believe we went to 240 West Montauk Highway, we went to the Parks building. So we looked at not just who's on the site, but the other buildings of the town as well as a comprehensive overview of all of our employees and their workspaces.
Absolutely, yep. And that ultimately kind of drove our site analysis, which we took back all that information from our site visit, and we did an in-depth desktop analysis to kind of understand the site conditions today, the opportunities that they present, and also some of the constraints that we'll be working with. From there, we developed a master plan vision, and we kind of see this as an overarching driver for the master plan itself. We made sure this aligned with the town priorities, as mentioned, the creation of a justice center in the near term and a police headquarters just afterwards, as well as the opportunities we had identified in the site analysis. And then honing more detail, which we'll kind of go through in the next few slides, we also looked at the space needs of the site and all of town's facilities. So what are the existing staffing requirements? What do each of those facilities and departments need for space? Things like storage, paved storage areas, parking, as well as the projected future growth of those departments. And finally, we kind of looked at the program itself. We wanted to kind of nail down what would be the best departments and who is best suited to transition to Jackson Avenue. So we looked at things like efficiencies and how we could group different departments to create optimizations. Next slide, Phil.
I do want to say to the board that please interrupt us as much as you want. And if you have questions, comments, suggestions, we'd like to make this as much of an interactive process as possible. So don't be shy in talking.
So as discussed, I'll just go over this very quickly, but we did an in-depth site analysis using the GIS layers that the town had provided to really understand the different site conditions that we're working with. So things like the parcels at play, so the addition of the sewage treatment plant to the east and those acquired parcels, which give us some leeway to circumvent the Pine Barrens requirements for the site. We also looked at the topography, the open space and trail systems, as well as the existing circulation and road networks through the site.
And
that kind of led us.
We won't be circumventing anything. We will be using the additional parcels to reapportion our clearing in conformance with the requirements.
Correct, thanks, Tom.
For those Pine Barren members listening.
Totally fair. Yeah, wrong choice of word. And yeah, so eventually we came to this site analysis summary. And this document or this diagram essentially shows some of the opportunities on the site. So where we have buildings, where we have opportunities to add buildings or renovate, where we can sort of adjust the site access and circulation system. And all of these factors filtered into the design concept development. Next slide. And as mentioned, we created a design vision and objectives for the site. So I'll just kind of go over this quickly, but the master plan worked to improve the public-facing appearance of Jackson Avenue, how the user experiences the site when someone comes to visit, what they're seeing, how that reflects Southampton's character. We also looked at things like optimization, workflow, functionality, and how we could improve those on site, as well as safety and security. And then we looked at more broader goals such as sustainability and resilience, ensuring the site's flexible over time, and that the site and Jackson Avenue reflect the town's strategic goals and maximize value for the town. Now, getting sort of more into the weeds and the details, a lot of data drove the different concepts you're going to see today. So the first sort of layer of data is the staff that are currently on site, as well as the satellite facilities. So we looked at Jackson Avenue and those departments who's currently on site, as well as the satellite facilities, Marine Patrol, Community Preservation Fund, Housing and Community Services, the Offsite Parks Department, and Town Hall and the different departments that reside within that site. Next slide. And here, I won't go into too much detail because there's a lot of data here, but this slide essentially serves to highlight that the master plan was informed by a very in-depth analysis of what exists today, as well as what the future looks like for the town's facilities. So you'll see we did a deep dive sort of into the floor plans and the existing square footage of the site and the facilities on site. We also looked at the future gross floor area that would accommodate growth by department and the different needs from parking to storage and garage facilities. And next slide.
I think it's
And
very
a lot of this
important
was
that, like-
informed when we were there in
Well, I'm
July
just- oh.
with our variety of stakeholder interviews that we had with each of the department heads and touring the facilities. So it was very informative for us to go around and do that analysis and those interviews.
I'm just starting with the staffing, and the numbers are not correct.
On which page?
The existing staffing requirements. That's just something that just jumped out of those numbers are just, they're not.
Which numbers?
They start with public safety and code enforcement's way more than 10.
Yeah, we'll adjust it.
Okay.
I like that you know, in speaking with the department heads, took into consideration their future goals, you know, what they'd like to see in terms of additional space and floor area.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, that was super, super important, and everyone was very welcoming, I think, to the opportunities to have these new facilities and informing us what they liked, what they didn't like, what they needed.
Yeah, so we undertook that analysis for all of the facilities, Jackson Avenue, satellite facilities, as well as Town Hall. And if we go to the next slide, you'll see we kind of drilled into more detail by departments. And these buildings kind of informed what you'll actually see on the master plan. So left, you'll see the existing building footprint in gray, and the white is the new proposed building footprint. These are based on growth rates that we applied per department. So for general administrative uses, so that would be like Town Hall, 6 to 8% growth rate was applied. And then for the Justice Court and Police Department, a more stringent or higher increase is anticipated. So 12 to 15% was applied as a growth rate to those facilities. So you see in the example of the Justice Court on the left, the existing footprint is now envisioned as a 2-story, more compact footprint. And we've shown these as a sample, but we've done these studies for each and every building for the town.
And it's important to note that the employees that currently occupy the Justice Court prefer the 2-story arrangement as opposed to a 1-story facility.
As does the police department.
As does the police department.
And the judges.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not getting
And,
that far into the weeds with designing the actual building, but their concept of a future justice center would be the courts and the public areas on the first floor with the more restricted areas and the judge chambers on the second floor, possibly jury boxes.
Yeah.
Or jury rooms.
And I will note on the town hall, we've shown the town hall as this current massing at this time at the indicated square footage. We've had some discussions with the steering committee here in the town that potentially town hall could be a cluster of buildings, which would help with the phasing of moving services across to the new campus. This could be done over a period of a decade or more. But it wouldn't be that you'd have to build an entirely new facility and then move everybody in. It could be done in stages.
And here we just have the same study for the police department. This one's slightly different, as the chief kind of specifically requested that they would like to retain their existing footprint and just include a 2nd story. So there's some additional space in this building proposed for things like the Marine Patrol to transition in, and potentially other complementary workflows. Next slide. And then finally, we just wanted to show you how we started to think about the program distribution. So this is essentially thinking about what is best suited to go to Jackson Avenue and which facilities might remain where they currently are. So in the first scenario, this is kind of the least intensive. What we were contemplating is essentially retaining and improving the existing Jackson Avenue facilities, and then moving 1 or 2 very complementary facilities to the site. So for example, Marine Patrol. The second facility is kind of an intermediate option. We termed it Town Hall West, which essentially would include a move of part of Town Hall to the Jackson Avenue site and retaining the existing Town Hall location for more public-facing options. So that would include Town Hall's more operational and development-focused departments moving to the Jackson Avenue site, as well as all of the existing facilities remaining on site. And then finally, scenario 3, a wholesale Town Hall move would contemplate moving absolutely all of Southampton's facilities to the Jackson Avenue site. This, of course, is the most space intensive. So you'll see in the concepts that we'll present next that these options all consider this scenario. And we can tailor this down as we continue to have discussions on who is best suited to move to Jackson Avenue.
Okay, thanks, Rachel. So we're going to go through the 3 options that we talked about. And again, if you have questions along the way, just stop me. First design option that we looked at was called the Town Green. And one of the things that when we did our initial assessment of the facilities was really trying to look at, is this facility okay? Is it not okay? Should it be moved? The police department was one that we looked at and said, is this building worth keeping? Is it worth rehabbing for the police? Is it worth rehabbing for other departments? So we have scenarios here that kind of deal with all of the above. And this first scenario, which is called the Town Green, actually takes the police station and demolishes it, just gets rid of it on the site. So the police station, you can see where my cursor is right here. Here's the existing antenna on Jackson Avenue. Police station sits just to the left of that. What we've done in this scenario is we've combined where you see 2 and 3 to be the police and marine patrol, and we've connected that to a new justice court, which would sit at the southern end of the site. We see some advantages between having the justice court and the police together. Town Hall then brackets the northeastern part of this Town Green, and we move within that the Highways Department, Parks and Rec, the Housing Authority, as well as we've talked about with the group in the town about potentially having a daycare facility in there or some smaller concession area that would help service that zone. It creates this really interesting Town Green with good connectivity, a comfortable pedestrian environment, and then good movement and connectivity between what would happen within the Justice Court about movement between the police station and the Justice Court. Parking is surrounded around the perimeter with various accessibility, creating a nice pedestrian-friendly campus on the interior. And you can see that we've utilized the existing access point off of Ode Riverhead Road that brings you up towards Red Creek Park. So the majority of the movement to these parking zones could be achieved from that access point. The Jackson Avenue access point would access the police and part of the Justice Court, but the primary use of that road then would be to the transfer station and that what would be a new maintenance facility and also connecting the existing maintenance facility.
Yeah, that's nice that you clustered all the garages and repair shops in one area.
Yeah, and we think that, you know, with having the police station here, we can put the impound lot. There'd be some nice connectivity back up into there because there's a lot of use from the maintenance perspective that has to carry over towards the police department as well.
And
So you can
did
see-
you always provide for a separate parking area for the police vehicles and a separate, entrance to the building?
Yes, yeah. So key features of this open space connectivity is this major courtyard and employee amenity spaces that would be created as these buildings surround this, and some kind of examples of what that might look like. And then looking at it from a massing perspective, the Justice Court being a 2-story building, the police headquarters also being this 2-story building with Marine Patrol, and then the Town Hall. And as I mentioned, this Town Hall, we could break this up into a series of masses. We're going to present some architectural character studies shortly, and you can kind of see how these massings might play out in a scenario like that. And then again, to the north, highway administration garage, parks maintenance, and the trustees
Can I
garage, which
just
would
ask
stay
a
on the site.
question?
Sure.
I don't,
Of course,
I don't
ask away.
I don't see public safety mentioned anywhere in any of this.
You have the public safety code enforcement in the town hall building, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think there's an error in the numbers that when you put code enforcement, it's just code enforcement, but we also have to add in the fire marshals and the animal control.
And
Then it looks like that was overlooked.
and the admin staff.
Yeah, and the admin staff. So-
Okay, yeah, we can add that. I mean, we do have space available for that, so.
And also on the garage, the highway garage should be closer to the highway administration building, and then the police garage should be right attached to that, or the central garage, you could call it. And you also need a garage for code enforcement and the fire marshals for their trucks and equipment. Because they have a
Okay.
lot of stuff they have to keep inside.
That's more storage, right? Not a mechanic shop, just a
Yeah.
storage.
These are repair shops that are on here?
Yeah. These are repair shops.
Those are all good comments, and we do have a lot of space up here on this northern part to incorporate those facilities for the existing garages. And we can, look at the relationships between the proposed buildings and those garages in a little bit more detail in the next phase.
You also need an impound yard for the bay constables and the trustees, unless you're gonna use the police impound. They impound boats and mushroom anchors and stuff like that, floats.
Yeah, are you talking about with the Marine Patrol?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be combined with what we're showing with police impound at this time, because we've taken Marine Patrol, would incorporate that into the new police headquarters.
That's good.
I mean, I'd like to see a scenario where we improve all the facilities that are there,
Yep, option two
relocate
would-
relocate Marine Patrol back, and also put public safety back there.
I agree. This is the only option that demolishes the current police station. The other two options preserve the current police station and repurpose it as like office space or storage. So, like,
We should probably see what option two.
Yeah,
go
let's
over
see
option
the
two,
rest.
and then-
Okay, so option two, this particular scheme maintains the existing police station, but reconverts it over to highway, parks and rec, and the housing and community services. Now, it's a very large building, and in terms of the rehabilitation of that building, we would have the ability to move other departments, as we've mentioned. So if public safety needs to move in there, or public safety wants to move back over towards town hall, I think we have the ability from a spatial perspective to move that in there. This scheme takes town hall and moves it more towards Old Riverhead Road, so it would be the first thing you see when you come into the site. We've realigned the Jackson Avenue access to alleviate some traffic concerns, so you come back in to the site off of the Old Riverhead Road access, parking for the town hall. Then we have the court, Southampton Court here, number one. Again, we've always kind of kept the court and the police station somewhat in proximity with each other because of the dual uses associated with that. This scheme creates a nice centralized green spine with good pedestrian connectivity, as well as the ability to create a nice sustainable concept that would flow throughout the site. We've consolidated the garage and maintenance facilities and created some separate garage and maintenance functions as well, and connectivity back in to what these existing parking areas would be. And you can see from a circulation standpoint, again, this realigned access would be the primary, route to go to these maintenance facilities, to the transfer yard. And most of the public would be accessing off the Old Riverhead Road access to the town hall, the justice court, and the police facilities.
So whenever we see police impound, we should assume that it includes the Marine Patrol impound as well.
Correct. Yep.
there's
So
also
key
no
features of
space.
this, so again,
Well, I
that
was just
north-south linear.
I was just going to say, there's also no space up by where we're going to demolish the justice court to have any type of open impound parking areas, anything like that. For the most part, these are just placeholders. if we need to add to an impound yard, we can add to an impound yard. That's mostly why we're drawing rectangles in this
Or it
area.
makes more sense to me to have the impound up by the transfer station anyway.
Well, in some instances, right? Because PD is consistently having people go to the police station. They walk with them out to the impound yard. So if they have to walk now all the way up to the north end of the site, it just adds to it. If
For
it's
long
raining.
term.
Yeah, so there are plenty of opportunities to just have fenced impound storage, like marine patrol if we put it up. Yes.
You should have 2 impound yards.
Sure.
Yeah, have one with, like the cars with people gonna come, because you know which.
Yeah, like
much
long,
you know,
and then there's like
the
crashed
long-term-
vehicles.
The long-term,
Sure.
like boats and
Yeah, put that up by the transfer station, out of the way, tucked
out
away.
the back.
And then that could be shared with trustees as well for that type of storage. So yeah, that's great.
That's what we had talked about before.
Okay, Phil.
Okay, so key features of this, the way the buildings are aligned, kind of moving down the site on the eastern edge, we get a real nice north-south linear green spine. We could do some really interesting sustainability measures associated with the site. This is a picture right here is a project we did at the University of Rhode Island that has a real strong sustainability rain garden signature that runs through an entire district of the campus. Lots of great opportunities for movement and connectivity around the building, as well as creating public amenities and open space for the people that would be working on the campus. So again, looking at the overall massing, the repurposed police station with parks and highway, the open space and connectivity, town hall sitting down here on the southern edge, and then the link between what we have with police, marine patrol, and the justice court facilities with the revised garage scenarios to the north.
Yeah, because we determined that it was determined that the police department is a solid building, just not appropriate any longer for the police.
Yeah.
But it can be repurposed into nice office space for these other departments.
Just a quick section, looking towards the west between town hall and open space would then connect down towards the justice court and the police department, and then moving across to the trustees garage.
What do people think about number 2? Is that a little more comfortable than the first one, or because this is a good time to, I know we're all seeing it for the first time like this, but please don't hesitate
So I think
to
number
yell
2
it out.
definitely is more in character with Red Creek Park. I mean, to have everything just piled in there. This at least has a lot more green space. It has 2 accessible roads. I think it lays out a lot better to combine with Red Creek Park.
Yeah, the thought is this could be another nice community space, like to hold events or to have a press conference or something like that.
Yeah.
So
I just
do
would
like
want to
number
move
2.
the police impound over closer to the.
yeah, sure.
To the what?
Police had, maybe cut this down and just put a small one here.
Yeah.
That way it's not, when you come in here on the way, you don't see it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
we can do a little flip flop.
So, the highway, they can use it for, they're not right next to it.
Did you hear that, Phil? That we're suggesting to move in number 2, the police impound over by the police headquarters instead of over by where it is now, by the,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I think, if we have dedicated parking in this zone for the police, it might be good to move that impound lot, say, somewhere in this direction, and then we could create a roadway connection over to this maintenance yard so we could service vehicles to the north of that.
Now, if I may clarify, option 2, if I was following along with the presentation earlier on, established that option 2 is creating the Town Hall West. Is that correct?
Yes.
But it can be built in phases,
But-
so not everybody has to move
Right.
all at once, if at all.
Right, so, but option 1 in the layout did show Town Hall, is that, so I thought option one, correct me if I'm wrong, but let me just get this out. Option 1 was just the renovations, and then option 2 is the renovations plus the Town Hall West. Do I have that incorrect?
You're mixing up scenarios and options.
Okay.
the scenarios don't correspond to the options in that fashion.
I got confused with that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's, they looked at 3 different scenarios, they may not necessarily be this option.
Okay.
But let's look at town hall as, departments. Like, not as like a physical town hall, but white collar departments that are public facing. So,
But then option 3 is moving everything from here to the west, correct?
That's scenario
not
3.
necessarily.
Okay.
It all depends on the town hall size, right?
I guess
It's a little
design
misleading.
option, the design options are not the same as.
Scenarios.
Did they call them scenario? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the confusing part, that we thought that the 3 scenarios,
Yeah, the scenarios as they're listed say, are a little bit more distilled and don't include, for instance, scenario 1 doesn't include the town hall, so, but then the design option does, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
All 3 design options
Have
have
everything.
town hall.
Yeah, if I could just add some clarity to that. That was our initial, when we were looking at phase 2, about how we were going to structure the framework of the master plan. And as we moved through the process, it was determined that all of these scenarios, we're going to look at a holistic campus of moving everything over at this stage. So the 3 options that we're seeing right now are moving all of the facilities over to the Jackson Avenue campus.
And now again, so what I think is nice about developing a master plan is we know that we need a new justice court, and we know that something has to be done with the police department. So this sets a baseline to think at that time. If we do one day move all of town hall facilities to Jackson Avenue, where would it be best to place the justice court? Where would it be best to place the police department?
And how much room do we need? So this plan creates a modular approach to it, and you'll see that town hall is split into 2 buildings on here. We could build 5,000 square feet, and then in 15 years, when we decide, hey, this place is really starting to get old.
It is old.
We're best served in the center of town, we expand.
And we have the space because we haven't boxed ourselves in, if you will.
So we're trying to look at, like,
Do it in stages.
probably should have backed this up a little further, but we're trying to look at everything. We're trying to make sure that we don't step on our own shoes when we build the first building. Because that's the last thing we want to happen, is that gets in the wrong spot, and then we're just handcuffed with what we can do with the rest of the site.
so that's why the 3 scenarios, really the team went with scenario 3 to say, let's design it for everything, doesn't mean you have to put everything there right now.
And I apologize, we've been looking at this for months, and this is the first time we're seeing it, so I forgot to, it was,
I've seen it a few times with Nick.
The most intensive use is the design options.
I would like to see us start with a new police department and justice center, right? And then bring the services that were there back, being public safety and marine patrol. And then, whether they go into the old police department building or what, but bring them back to the site and then expand out from there.
Yeah, it's
But-
beautiful. That's what this lets us do. We have a la carte menu board, but we know where each one can go. So we'll start with, today we're trying to figure out, like, do we want to keep the PD or do we want to build a new PD? That's really the second option on the table right now. We know we want to do a justice court, and then it's like, which is going to guide us to the best placement of the justice court? Because if PD is staying, then justice court will go here. If PD is getting relocated, it's going to adjust that, right? So those are the 2, 1, 2 things that are going to happen. And then, but we don't want to, back ourselves into a corner for future people coming back.
Yeah, you have to take the whole thing into consideration, even if you're only going to build some of it now.
Because you always then have the option, you're not working around that building that you put somewhere that now, in hindsight, gee, I wish that building was here, because now when we're building Town Hall West or just another facility for whomever, it can't go where it makes the most sense to go per the site.
I think to me, the most sense means is a justice court and a police department, because I think keeping the police in the actual police department while you're trying to expand it, and it's just too, it's too
Pretty much
disruptive.
abandoned that at this point.
I mean, my thought process as town engineers, I'd love to see everybody at a central place, and it's gonna help communication, working with each other.
Yeah.
Traffic.
Retaining and hiring employees. So we're trying to create a scheme that allows for that if the funding matches that in the future.
we do have to be cognizant of the fact that if we decide to move all of our town services to the west, right, to make it, we're basically abandoning the eastern half of the town. We're basically saying it's too hard to function here as a business.
Well, it's right in the middle, right, of town, Hampton Bays, wouldn't you say? It's equidistant for both?
Geographically.
You could say that about here, really.
Yeah.
So what it allows us to do is to potentially, I mean, this is 10, 15, 20 years. This
Yeah.
this board won't even
I
be
think they're
looking at it.
We're not, and plus, what Cindy was saying, we're not abandoning the east or the west. Right now, we have sub-office, like Cindy has office in Hampton Bays. Now, instead of us having, her having an office in Hampton Bays, she'll have one in Southampton. We might, sell this building and get a smaller one here for all like sub-offices.
It opens up a lot of options, and we will have to choose to provide services on both sides of the town. But
have to make a
which will
step
be the
forward.
main, which will be the annex, and then by relocating departments out of the smaller singular Hampton Bays buildings, we can start to sell those off to fund future development here. We have a lot of options in the future.
If I may, I think there's an importance to understanding that there are priorities, and I think the police department, right, the other facilities. Justice Court, yeah, absolutely, yeah. No, I've had conversations with them that we need to definitely move forward on that. But I also think what this presentation is also prompting us to think about is the importance of centralization versus decentralization in town governance. Because I do think that if we are too decentralized, it's too disconnected with the public. The public might, right now, they go to, Hampton Bays for housing, trustees, et cetera, right? But the town hall is located here. I think there is an importance to a centralized function. And in some ways, if we are considering, getting rid of this building and moving to the further west, I think there's an importance there for us to consider. Just in terms of government function
And
efficiency.
at some point, one-stop shopping for our residents is extremely convenient, whether if you have to drive another 15 minutes to the west to get
Right.
to Hampton Bays, instead of coming to my office
I
and
mean,
then driving west
to
to
get
Highway, then come back.
to come from here during rush hour to trustee's office during rush hour is almost impossible. It takes hours. So in some ways there is I think a value to centralizing all the different functions of local government.
But what you're also saying then is the people that are here that want to go now have to adjust, like, you know what I mean? Like, right now, people from the west can't come here in the mornings, right? So now you're saying that people that live here can't go to town facilities in the afternoon because there's too
People
much
who
traffic.
live east.
Yes.
Well, it's easier, I think, during the morning, right, to potentially come.
East to west.
Right. I think it depends on your travel. I mean, that's going to be a consideration. It's a consideration now. I mean, you might even argue that people that are living west of the canal have a hard time coming to our town board meetings because of the situation. So I think either way you split it, there's always going to be people that have an issue with being able to get here. So I do think there's a value in discussing the centralization of local government function.
And I'll say that's our final phase.
Yeah,
is
and
looking at
exactly.
the town hall.
This is not something we
Yeah.
have to decide today or
Yeah.
even get into a conversation, because we can talk about this separately. This is only allowing space if we decide to do that. Like, if we decide to do it 10 years from now, where would it go? It should go here. Okay, so let's design the layout that way. So it doesn't
Trying
mean
to-
we're actually doing it.
Trying to keep ourselves from falling into the same trap that everybody has fallen into before us, and we're gonna do this as
Well, I mean,
giant
as
fight.
far as this layout goes, I think I'm on board with doing a new justice center and police department and then repurposing the police department for other stuff.
Yeah, and they'll have the sequencing for us. And yeah, you're right, you can't really renovate the PD while they're there. So we build the justice court and then move them in, build the new police department, move them in, renovate, and then move public safety, and we can sell the building they're in.
We knew that we can't close the court and demolish the court and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
build a new court where it currently stands. So we know that they need a new facility and they need to operate while that new facility is constructed. So that's what
Yeah.
kind of led into all of this is where does that facility get
This
So
giant
then,
game of
in
hopscotch.
that scenario, then option two, which leaves the current police building in place is probably the best option.
Yeah, so far, I mean, I like number
Any,
two.
any option that leaves the police
Through-
department in.
Throughout these options, we were trying to relocate new buildings where there weren't currently buildings, so that those departments can continue to serve all their functions until it's move-in day. And then they move, and then we can start the next phase. This is all one small bite at a time, because in early 2000s, it was like, let's do the whole thing at once, and it never got off the ground.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Just imagine if, when Skip Heaney wanted to do this 30 years ago, we would not be sitting here.
Yeah.
And if we don't start it here and lay out something for the future, 10 years from now, the board's gonna say, how come that board back then did the same thing the board in 2000 did nothing?
And we try to come at this at like a placeholder level. Like, we're not designing buildings, we're not coming up with architectural plans. We have tokens on here that can guide us in our thinking, but it's gonna allow us to hopefully have a really manageable way of achieving this in just one piece at a time.
Do you want to review option 3? And
Yeah, Phil, jump back in. Sorry.
Sure, and I just want to note, this is great discussion, by the way. All of the facilities that we're proposing on these plans, they don't compromise what's happening with an existing use. So, Tom, I think as you mentioned, Justice Court would still operate while new Justice Court is being built. And in all of the scenarios, the police department could operate in its current facility until a new facility is built as well.
Bill had a comment about the garage in number 2.
And number 2, the trustee garage, that should be put a little bit bigger, and that should be combination with the Bay Constable's garage. It has to be high enough so they can back a boat in there and lift it up off the trailer and do maintenance on the boat. So that
Okay.
means you need like double that size, and, you know, part of it would be the trustees and part would be the Bay Constables.
Great. That's noted, and we will make that change. Thank you for that information.
Okay. All right, let's
Okay,
see what number
so-
3 looks like.
Final scheme on number 3. So number 3 is
Just
called
stay
the
with number
Civic
2.
Courtyard.
Skip number 3.
Just look at it.
You know how I am, like, let's get it going.
Go ahead.
So
Bill.
we have public-facing buildings that are co-located to improve the efficiency. We have Town Hall and the Justice Court located at the southern edge. So that would be the first thing you see when you come into the site off of Old Riverhead Road. Good, really nice buffer and retaining like a re-mitigated pine barren buffer that would match what we have on the other side of Jackson Ave. Nice interconnectivity with courtyard schemes that would link up to a new police station with Marine Patrol, and just like in option 2, repurposing the existing police facility for the highway, parks, and housing authorities and other departments as needed to move into those areas. This also has a really nice like centralized green that would move down towards Jackson Ave that could be used for community events within the town. So really adding a nice communal aspect to the overall civic campus plan. So again, looking at the access and circulation, main access off of Old Riverhead Road to a variety of parking areas. And then again, all the schemes have the same of Jackson Ave being more of that commercial development as it moves down towards the transfer station. So again, the key features, that major green lawn that extends down and opens it up into a nice civic space that could be used for community facilities, and then real good kind of interconnected pedestrian circulation in between the buildings. It's a little bit like option 1, but it becomes a bit tighter in terms of its courtyard feel. Looking at the overall massing.
Is it me, or does the way the design, the massing on 3, it just looks a little more cleaner, even though I think we're anticipating more happening with option 3, but it just seems like it's more, you know.
Why does it look like the town hall building moves?
Are you able to explain that?
It does move.
When you say cleaner, do you mean in terms of like a streamline approach to the layout?
It just seems more. Can you just wait till I'm done with the question? So like it just seems like this is more spaced out. It looks like it's more efficient. The layout, I don't know why.
Versus this one.
Versus 2, which seems like everything is the way it's laid out. There looks like there's actually more happening in 2, and the way 3 is lined up, it's just the massing looks like it's.
2 looks like it's got a bigger event space here than, you've got 2 big green spaces in number 2.
The layout
with
just seems
2
more concise than 3.
I think with 2, we really tried to approach it from the standpoint of like the sustainability measures and creating kind of a larger signature to the open space and the connectivity between the buildings. So as those buildings were located along that western edge of the road, we really get a nice piece of pedestrian. It becomes a little bit like an extended campus, whereas 1 and 2 begin to tighten up a little bit more.
I think because too.
So it's just a different approach in terms of the overall circulation and the methodology for the connectivity and the public open space.
Why don't you go to page 29 so we can see all 3 at the same time?
But also from 2 to 3, you took some of the park, that's why I think it looks less congested. They took the parking and moved it across Old River Road,
Which
you have people crossing the road.
Oh,
Just we
that's
have
true.
to- What we said before, we have to keep that for the future growth of the Red Creek Park. So we really don't want to put the parking across the street.
All right, so there's all 3.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that before about the parking.
West, Michael,
There's still,
'cause there's-
but there's still parking.
Yes,
options
but
there.
there's a lot of this bulk from up here is moved across the street.
I mean, even if on number 2, we don't have to do the screen, we could do away with all this open space and have trees, like over here.
I like 2.
Yeah, I think for me, 1 seems a little compressed. I like that 2 seems to more comfortably use the space.
One is also just surrounded by asphalt.
Yeah, that's true too, and you see the parking as soon as you get there.
Yeah, there's the parking, Maria, is something we'll have to delve into with you guys a little bit more in the next phase, because it's a lot of parking, and I know that certain facilities, like the Justice Court, are taxed right now with parking and will require a lot of parking in the future. But we're really going to have to hone in and verify those numbers that we've put out there for the other facilities, because it is quite a bit of parking. But we do want to make sure we future-proof this area so that we're not getting into trouble down the road.
In number 2, the building at the top of the green space behind the Justice Center, is that a new building?
This building right here?
I can't see your, no, behind it. Like to the left. No.
The one on the
Oh,
angle?
Yeah,
this
it's right
building.
there.
Yeah, that's the existing police department.
Okay,
That
so
would
in
be
that
converted
scenario,
into-
this town hall building is a new building as well?
Correct.
The 3 new buildings, the Town Hall, Justice, and the Police and Marine Patrol.
Okay.
So they can all be done, like you could do the police or the Justice Courts first, then do the police, and,
And so that front town hall building and the parking wouldn't even have to be completed?
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
No,
it
that
be
could
10
just
years from
leave
now.
it.
Yeah,
Could be nothing
Could be nothing.
if future
I like
decides
that one.
not to touch
Well,
it.
you did decide to leave the transfer station where it is. Nothing's going to happen
Yeah,
with
so
that.
transfer station's staying exactly where it is because it's built on the limits of the 60s landfill that used to be back there.
And there's no reason to move the fueling station, and
No,
the
all
highway
that,
department was fine with it staying where
every
it
highway
is.
barn over there will stay.
Yeah, that's all in good condition.
And then the Justice Court is also built partially on the limits of that former landfill, which is why it's having some settling issues. So we want to keep that space pretty much available for parking.
Yeah.
Impound, truck storage, like,
Make a little porous.
yeah. So that space is, needs to become vacant at some point, and really don't want to have anything permanent there.
Okay.
How we doing on time?
Pretty good. I mean, we should probably move to the,
Let's see,
unless
we haven't-
anybody has any other specific comments.
Really increase how the septic is up there, because there's so many small pools here and there.
Yeah, well, the future sewage treatment plant is going to be a boon to this as well.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So we wanted to quickly run through some architectural design character scenarios and options, and then give you guys a quick overview of the funding strategy and how that's going to be moving forward into the next phase.
Okay.
So I'm going to hand it over to Nikki. She's going to run through the architectural language, and then Nicolette's going to talk about the funding.
Hi, everyone.
I just want to
Comments
say
are appreciated here.
I just want to say before you start, so you don't get any hurt feelings, I do not like contemporary buildings. I think that, you know, this is a farm community, a fishing community. It should stay, you know, traditional. It's fine to have a contemporary house where it belongs, so I'm not totally against
Maritime.
contemporary, but not as a town building. And I wouldn't want the building to be traditional and low maintenance, because the town has a record of not taking care of their buildings. And,
Okay.
Well, that's perfect, because that's why we're doing this. We're doing this to throw some options out and get your feedback, and then carry that forward into the next phase.
you
So
go
I,
Get the unvarnished feedback.
yeah, if you go down to Main
Yeah.
Street, the old Village Hall, where was Town Hall, that's a classic building. Then now it was Saks for a while. I don't know what it is right now.
Bookstore.
And that building's like probably 80 years old. It's a still classic building. Then you look at a classic contemporary, and you go, oh my God, what was he thinking? All right, you have the floor.
all right,
Okay,
Nikki.
so our goal in this exercise is not to present the images literally, but just to help us understand your feelings and your reactions to 5 overall design approaches. We really do want to hear about how you feel these ideas are connecting with the town's architectural context and history, similar to what was just said, and also what your goals are for the Jackson Avenue site. Any of these strategies can be applied at different scales and different budgets. So we really want to focus on the design qualities and the semantics, what these styles, what these strategies are communicating and symbolizing. Another thing to consider is how the approaches will integrate with the context, the surrounding green space, and any existing elements that will remain on the site. So this first approach is an homage to the early American architecture in the town, and that's referencing the oldest structures from the colonial period. The warm wood cladding and simplified geometry are the most prominent features. Rather than a single monumental structure for each building, the massing would be distributed across the site a bit, evoking a village composed of smaller buildings, very communal, very democratic. The glazing has less visual prominence, although we will need to have some glazing based on the program. And the continuity with that surrounding landscape is also prioritized. And the overall read of the massing is horizontal, and that border between indoor and outdoor will feel somewhat blurred. And I think you can see that aspect the best in the examples on the far left and right. The second approach we're calling the commons, and this is probably the most contemporary. The theme is a very clean approach that is light, it's transparent. It's also using some traditional cladding materials such as wood and stone. And the town's historic forms can be referenced in subtle ways. So this approach would have the most glazing and the most engagement with a sort of a central civic plaza. Each building would have a distinct architectural expression, but could be unified by the use of the same material, a roof line, or a pattern. And, I'm interested in hearing your feelings about this,
I just feel like if we're talking.
but this approach, oh,
I think it's a little
Uh,
too much glass for us.
Exactly. I just think too, we're talking about it, to start with, we're talking about a justice court and a police department, although I see a police department on here. I feel like that much glass lends itself to unusable space for the police department in that entrance area.
It's very, I take care of, I manage a few houses, and some are contemporaries with a lot of glass, so you have a lot of heat. You have a lot of heat loss, and you make a lot of heat in the summer, so that's a lot of AC and a lot of heat to make in the wintertime. So less glass is sometimes you're better off. And so far, what I see up there, it doesn't fit. If Southampton was up west, I would say these buildings are beautiful. But in Southampton, I don't see any of the buildings you showed me would fit in this neighborhood.
Yeah, everything you're showing us is beautiful, by the way.
Yeah, it's beautiful, but
We should
not,
probably move to the next
yeah, not in
slide.
this town.
Yeah, and it should, I just want to note, we're not designing the interior of these spaces, but what we are doing from this is, from a massing perspective, from a character perspective, this is going to inform things like, how do we enter the buildings? What do we need for a logistics perspective in terms of servicing the buildings? And how are we going to link and communicate from one building facade to another from a circulation and site point of view? So it's really, this is what, in looking at this type of language, it's going to inform this next level of the master plan as we move forward.
So the third approach is modern shingle. So that's adapting the traditional shingle style, which has these sort of deep roof lines that shift to different heights. There's still natural wood cladding, somewhat asymmetrical forms. So you can have some more playful interpretations of that traditional wood shingle cladding, as you can see in some of the reference images here. Those are from Japan, so no surprise there. In Japan, using traditional materials and methods is extremely culturally important, as it is here. The geometry for this.
Can I
Yes?
interrupt you? Have you been to the corner of County Road 39 and South McGee Street, the old Roscoe Potato Barn, which someone just refixed? That's a beautiful building. That would fit perfectly up there.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking for. I mean, I'm only 1 out of 5. But if you took a picture of that and made that into a police station or something, I mean, that building's huge, okay?
All right, so Nick can send a photograph of that along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a very,
Very helpful.
80 years from now, the people are gonna say, that's a nice building.
Are you talking about the south facade, right?
It's Mezineski.
Yes.
No, I know what he's talking, but you're talking about where they built the big parking lot side, looking at the building from that angle?
No,
Not the
just the
potato
whole-
barn angle.
Just the whole building in.
The whole building itself. The shingles, the stonework, the windows.
Okay.
The parking lot. I think, when Steve hired, whoever did it for him did a good job.
That's a huge building.
That's
Yeah,
a
it's
huge building.
So we'll send that just so you have the thought, but,
Okay, that's great.
why don't we look at the next one with the neo-traditional?
Yeah, so I mean, this is probably the most typical or conservative approach to civic buildings. It's sort of blending some elements of the federal, Georgian, and colonial styles. It's similar to some of the existing civic buildings in the town, symmetrical ABA facades, classical elements, traditional brick in some cases, very restrained ornamentation. These would be very recognizable for the public as civic buildings. There's certainly an element of nostalgia here. That's why this approach is still really popular in small cities and towns across North America. And part of the impact this would have on the overall site is that each building will appear to be its own object, and those stronger vertical elements at the entrance will cause things to read as a bit taller and a bit more monumental.
I like the bottom one.
The post office to me.
Yeah, it's getting better.
So the fifth style here we're calling maritime, and it's connecting with some of the commercial buildings in the town, which I think are classified as the maritime mercantile style. So, and it's borrowing some of those elements at a larger scale to be an interpretation for civic buildings. It's drawing from the forms of warehouses, trading halls, small commercial buildings. We're also seeing that pitched or shed-shaped roof, very durable materials like brick and metal on the exterior. There's really a strong reading of a grid within the facade. And in terms of the massing, it's sharing some characteristics with that coastal heritage approach, but the darker elements, the emphasis on masonry, give this a bit more weight and an overall more stoic and authoritative aesthetic. So we had an amazing palette of references to consider here. And sort of as you've had the chance to look through this, we're really looking forward to hear about, what's speaking to you in these images and what you think the town will embrace.
Thank you, Nikki.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna keep moving, and then if people still have comments about the architecture, I think there's been some great things that have been said so far. But please feel free to interrupt. Real quickly on the sustainability considerations, we've thought about this a little bit going into stage 3, as we mentioned in option 2, the potential to have kind of a large sustainability corridor that would run as a signature down the center of the campus. But we'll be looking at, in the future, at looking at incorporating some blue-green infrastructure, things like rain gardens, infiltration zones to recharge the water table, incorporating green roofs. And then our energy modeling team will be coming in to look at how we're going to power the site, whether that's going to be done with solar or ground source heat pumps. They'll be coming up with an entire scenario about looking at the energy modeling. And I think the real key here too is to enhance what we already have out there from a natural perspective on the site. The existing pine barrens, looking at the urban forest and the tree canopy and infusing that into the site as much as possible. So that will really be our next charge as we take what we hear from these current scenarios and coalesce that into our next option in stage 4. So right now I'm going to turn it over to Nicolette. She's going to give you an overview of the grant funding, what she's been doing to date, and how we'll be moving this into the next stage.
Thanks, Phil. So this is an overview of Arcadis's funding process, and we do different things for different clients. And for you all, we are creating the funding master plan. So our goal here is to create a plan that is implementable and in alignment with your project priorities and your timelines and the goals of all of you who will be involved in applying for grants and working out the different financing. So we're going to create a roadmap that will be your guide to funding Jackson Avenue, and it will lay out funding sources, timing, and dependencies so you'll all be able to move from concept to execution over the coming years. Next slide. Okay, this is kind of a silly slide, but what it shows is that a strong capital stack is key to resilience. And when I talk about resilience, I mean economic, social, it could be environmental. It's really about blending multiple funding sources, including grants and loans. So all of these are all options that you might want to consider, but they're not going to be appropriate for Jackson Avenue. This is just kind of a generic slide. But we're looking at different innovative financing tools, like per the request of the town in the RFP. You have to ask us to look at naming rights, advertising, maybe selling town-owned property, and using those different options to reduce your risk and increase flexibility. So we're looking out over years. Again, this isn't just about securing dollars. It's structuring them strategically so that your projects can weather uncertainty. And, we don't know in 5 years necessarily what grant programs are going to be offered. We can do our best guess with the information that we have over recent years. So what we want to come up with is a capital stack that makes sense for you. Okay, next slide. So the funding strategy that we are developing for you, it will include an overview of your past funding experience. That will be brief. I don't need to tell you all what you already know, but we are also looking at an Airtable database, which is the piece below here. And I don't want you to look at this as a finished product, because it changes based on the decisions that the design team makes. And as that process moves forward, I will be able to put in bid dates and cost estimates and shuffle these projects around. The Justice Center remains the priority at the top, the police headquarters close behind it, and then based on the necessary funding that you will need, we will kind of start to slot in what the best options are for you. So this is all kind of a work in progress right now. I don't have any big reveals for you today. This is just really to give you an overview of what we're doing behind the scenes while these other decisions that we've been talking about today are being made. And last slide, Phil. So again, this is just examples of funding resources that we think about with other clients. And then the next steps on my side are to really understand your priorities, understand what of these resources are just not appealing whatsoever, and which ones you would like me to prioritize. And then working with the design team again to understand cost estimates and timing, and develop a strategy for the team to review in January. So it's very much an iterative process along with the design. Does anyone have any questions or any?
You've met with our town comptroller, Dorothy Godlewski, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And I
Yeah,
don't
you
see
know
the
what?
inroads on here, but I do think that's an important one. Is that in the buy a brick kind of category?
It's on the
Couple
previous
pages.
sheet as
On
well.
the previous
Yep.
page? Okay. Yeah, because we might be able to find somebody who'd be willing to put a significant amount towards one or two of the buildings.
Okay, next steps.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Should
and I
I
think,
ask-
Nicolette, you have a funding strategy meeting scheduled for next week as well, right?
Next Tuesday.
Yeah.
And if there's anyone else I should add to that meeting.
We do, every year we do bonds, and so that's an option for some of the money. There's, we could take some out of the, general fund a little bit. So, there's strategies we can do, but we'd love to hear from you about these other opportunities. So we'll start with that meeting that we have on the books and go from there.
Perfect.
Great. All right, so next steps for us in terms of this process, you can kind of see our project timeline where we kicked off in July in our analysis phase. We did our concept vision, which we're just presenting to you right now. We're not really currently here, we're more in December, but the draft master plan hasn't started yet. So the goal here is to take comments that we get from the stage 3 report. We're going to revision the plan from 3 options down to 1 option. Nicolette is advancing the funding as discussed. Our energy team will come in and start the modeling for the site based on that preferred option. We're going to be looking at some preliminary cost estimating towards the end of this phase, with final cost estimating happening in the phase 5 master plan. And then we will start to look at a phasing schedule associated with the different facilities that we're going to be generating per this singular plan for stage 4.
So there were specific comments, but in general, is everybody most comfortable with?
I'm comfortable with number 2. I like the campus feel. I don't like number 3. It's more like a county center feel, and I did not like the parking on the other side of the park, because I think we need to save that for expansion for the park facilities. So it's definitely leaning towards number 2.
Nick knows I like number 2.
Okay.
And I'll get with Nick in the next couple of days to send you some maritime pictures of buildings and
Yeah, that'd be great.
just send one of Roscoe's Barn, Potato Barn, maybe a couple of net lofts for maritime.
And you have the comments about the parking lots and and not the parking lots, but the,
The trustee and the Bacon Hospital's maintenance shop.
Garages.
Yes.
yeah, and
Yep.
the impounds. And then, of course, the numbers for the fire marshals and
Animal control.
admins and animal control. And then Cindy, would you say that you were in, you preferred
We're talking
2, and then
I'm fine with
you
2.
kind of like 3.
That's
you'd
fine.
like
Yeah,
2
2 is
also.
fine.
Nick, is a parking garage like a lower level underground? Like, is that tremendously expensive?
It's less costly to build a subterranean garage than it is a multi-story above-grade garage, but they're both expensive.
There's still ventilation requirements associated with it. I'm not sure how our insurance broker would feel about vehicles underneath, but it's more costly than a parking lot, of course. Drainage requirements,
Yeah, you have pumps.
car
Well,
fires.
even on Long Island, you can probably get away with leaching, but.
Another level of
Yeah, depending on what type of subsurface parking it is, the spaces can be upward of $50,000 a space for a garage. So significantly more expensive than surface parking. Nicer than surface parking, I'll have to give it that, but it does come at a premium cost.
some of the people here though have SUVs and trucks and.
We looked at it in a former life, and it was less costly than a superstructure garage, but it was still, I mean, neither option was viable.
Parking under the police department or police to access the building?
Yeah, I mean,
It's kind of what I was thinking, yeah.
yeah, we can, I mean, there is an elevation change across the site. That might be something that we can build in.
Like like a Sally Port, but
Yeah, I mean, similar to Southampton Village.
yeah.
There's also groundwater considerations. I don't know. I think
No, not
we're
so much.
pretty good over here.
Not so much.
But that is something that just comes into play perhaps.
Cool.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Phil, and the whole team. I mean, this was an incredible presentation, and it's clear how much work you've done to all the data you've collected and the thought that you've put into the layout. So we really appreciate that. We'll get you these additional little things in the next couple of days. And did you have
Great.
another question, Bill?
No, but I can't thank you guys enough. I know you all have busy schedules, so we, on behalf of the team, we really appreciate you taking the time out to meet with us this morning and give us your feedback. And we all look forward to working with this group, as we progress this project forward. So we look forward to the next time we all see each other.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Okay, we'll talk soon.
One quick question
Thank
for
you.
Tom before he leaves. On the transfer station in Hampton Bays, could also maybe West Hampton, is it possible, I know we don't take construction in those 2 sites, but maybe putting a container there where just a homeowner can put like a 2x4 or sheetrock or,
I would highly recommend investing in a scale so that we can weigh that material and then we can take construction debris.
how about if we can't take the expense of a scale? There's another way we can do it because
I can
have.
charge by the cubic yard.
Maybe we want to do that because I had a couple of people stop me, with the traffic coming to him, they have a piece of sheetrock, they just fixed a hole in the wall, or a couple, old 2x4s. They have no way to get rid of them.
Yeah, they'd have to go to North Sea.
Yeah,
under
and with the
current
traffic and, they'd rather just go there, They
Okay.
look
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking into a vehicle scale in the coming years.
Yeah,
there.
maybe,
It's about $100,000 per scale.
yeah.
So,
So maybe we could do cubic, look at that.
okay.
Maybe put a limit, only a garbage can.
Yeah, it's just, it's a slippery slope, right? So if I open it up, it's open.
Yeah, but if you can limit to a garbage pan only, to just like we did with the 5-gallon oil.
Yeah, that's gonna be very tricky. I'll look into it.
Yeah, because people really would like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult to turn people away.
You don't want to turn people, that's the wrong answer.
So that's why I'm saying it's gonna be difficult. We're gonna have one person's gonna have a 2x4, and then the other person's gonna show up with a truck full of.
No, you just have to put, just like you do with the cardboard.
Well, they still come though. Like that's.
You have to lay it right out. It's a garbage can full of debris, you know, or 2x4s or whatever they've got, you know.
Okay.
Put a limit on it.
All right, I'll look into it.
Do we charge for the mattresses, or is
Yes,
that?
we've always charged for mattresses.
But was there something new that we just implemented?
Yeah, so we are.
Happy. Thanks, Nick.
We are partnered with a mattress recycling company, and they come and pick up the mattresses and box springs from Hampton-based transfer station, North Sea Transfer Station, and they bring it back to, I think they're in East Rockaway or some area, and they completely dismantle each mattress and they recycle the individual components.
What did we used to do with them? Just
We
discard
bring
them?
them to the same place we bring our garbage, and they end up in a landfill or incinerated.
That's a very good project.
Yeah, so we still charge for them, but
Yeah,
now
still
we're
charge for 'em.
being more responsible, a way of disposing
Yeah,
of
now
them.
every one of them, except if it's highly infested with bed bugs or is soiled beyond repair, we recycle these mattresses to the utmost ability.
Thank you. That's
Awesome.
good stuff.
So
We're glad you're so sustainability focused.
The assembly's working on a mattress bill, but it's been kicked out a couple times, so we'll see if it sticks this year. And then the people who sell mattresses will be responsible for recouping an initial fee that will ultimately pay for the disposal in the future.
All right, good, and thank you for your work with Arcadis. This was a very nice presentation.
Looks good.
Cool. Thank you, everybody.
All right, well, so sorry to keep you waiting. I know we're behind schedule, but our next topic is a change of a non-conforming use at 60 South Country Road in Quiog. Janice Shear, our Town Planning and Development Administrator, is here.
I am also joined by Joe Lombardi, and I'm sorry, Kyle Allen.
Hi, Kyle. Hi, Joe.
Property owner. Have some reports to hand out to everyone. Oh, I think I can. Good morning, everyone. It's very exciting information from Jackson Avenue. I will give you one to just put on Jim's.
Okay, got enough? Just one more. Thanks so much.
Sure.
Rick, you've got one?
Thank you.
I have one for Rick. And some maps as well. There's a map on the wall there, just so you have a reference point. This is 60 South Country Road in Quiog. And under the town code, the town board looks at one non-conforming use to another. We did this actually with the lawnmower place up on the highway, to a sign shop. Yeah, I don't know if everyone remembers that one, but the idea is that this property was previously a machine shop, a repair shop, automotive repair, and they're looking to do an office building. So I'll let you talk about what you want to do with it. And it's just in the front of Chesterfield's in Quiog on South Country Road. If that's like a good location.
Peters
and your
Road.
Description.
Just before, just east of Peters
Right.
Road.
Yep.
What's on either side of that?
So it's on, I guess that would be the east side is where our guys park now to go to work. And on the left side, it's Long Island, Crane, and Wrigley. On the north side is
East
our
side, there's also a residential subdivision and dog park proposed for, it's called Hangar Charlie, and it's like a car club and a residential subdivision, and because it's a club, can be to the other side, further over. And
Where all the trees are?
Yep.
Where the subdivision is? Not this. This is not that. I'm saying it's adjacent to that.
No, but I mean, all those trees are gonna get cleared for that place that you just talked about?
Yeah, but that's not the subject of this, but we will have a whole plan for that, for clearing. Go ahead.
Plus, there's a buffer on that.
Yeah, there's a buffer too,
100-foot
and I
wide
could put
buffer.
this on the screen as well, so that it's easier.
We have it right there.
And it's just so zoomed in, it's maybe easier if I just throw it up there. But you can go ahead and talk about it, and I'll get this on the screen for you.
So ultimately, we have a need for office space. We have this property up front, and right now, understanding the area and what it's becoming with our neighbors now to the east, Hanger Charlie, and them having a 10-lot subdivision, and Peters Lane going from Peters Lane, as it historically has been, to now having $3 million homes on it. Where we play into the community being a marine contractor and site developer, and the curb appeal, so to speak, is not really playing into tune with the community as it is becoming. So we would like to utilize this space for our need for an office while also making it fit into what the community around is becoming. You know, so putting in the office,
why don't you explain from scratch? What is it now?
it's just like an automotive repair building. That's a block building on the site right now, which you can see on the eastern property line there. And then the back half of it is used for storage of like air conditioning units and things like that for Long Island Crane.
So Kyle,
What you see from the street, can you see that? Right now.
Sorry.
So Kyle, these structures here, what are those structures? Can you just explain what those are?
Those are not structures. They're temporary storage.
Right.
So those
So
are
they're
large,
storage.
those are large air conditioning units and large filtration systems that Long Island Crane gets delivered, and then they'll go install them.
So with your vision of an office building, what's going to happen with all that?
It's all going to be gone.
It's going to be gone.
Yeah.
Because I know that there have been community feedback on some of all of that there, and they'd like to see all that.
But, so will Long Island Crane just move that onto their property?
Yeah, they'll have to
So
figure.
it's still gonna be there, it's just gonna be on their
Well,
property.
They space constricting. It wouldn't be able to be on their property. They'd have to figure out another thing to do with it.
This is Long Island Crane behind yours? Is that what
So
you're saying?
if you were to run that property line running east and west, and just run it all the way to the west from that south. So, sorry, but
So
like from
who's behind
here,
you?
I apologize. From here down is Long Island Crane.
Who's behind you?
Chesterfield.
Okay.
Which we are Chesterfield, and that's going to be our office space.
So Chesterfield's going to use your office space?
Chesterfield is the office space.
Okay.
Yes. So we are Chesterfield.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, so you own what's behind you also?
Yes. That's why the property is called up.
What?
The property is up front and we're out back, so that's the up front portion.
Do you have elevations to show of?
Oh, sorry, you get one?
I got two of this one. I didn't get one.
Building that's currently being used by like a boat
Who's his
builder?
father?
So he's a diver.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that'll be out.
Yes. Yep.
Let me just out of curiosity, what, so you're Alan, so who's your father?
Seth is my father.
Oh,
Seth's a good man.
Yeah. He's the nicest guy in the league.
Father was a very good man.
Thank you.
Obviously, this would go to the planning board after you know, if you were inclined to approve the change from one non-conforming use to another and the ARB, but for now, they have like a little bit of a conceptual elevation, right? If you want to hold that up.
Very decent.
It looks good.
Not too much glass.
That's more traditional
Yeah.
to this neighborhood.
We're going as traditional as possible.
are you saying you're gonna take everything off of this property?
Yes.
And
And put an
just
office
construct the office building? Right now, it's an automotive repair shop and a machine shop.
Yes, currently a diver rents out that front building. So he has his diving equipment and boats, and he'll do small repairs on, outboard motors and stuff out front.
But he'll go.
He'll go away.
And
Yeah,
these are all storage units?
Yes. Well, those aren't storage units per se. They're units that are being stored. So they're like large air conditioners that go on the roofs of hospitals and things like that, that Long Island Crane gets delivered there.
You're allowing them to use your property?
Yes, they're renting. So Long Island Crane is part of the family.
But, so their proposal, just to go over it, the standards, you have like standards in the code that you look at. The first thing is that they have to get an interpretation from the chief building inspector to say that, yes, it's a non-conforming use, and they have that. So they, it has been in continuous non-conforming operation, as you see. The current use is more conforming in, that they're proposing. An office building is certainly more conforming than, you know, all the things that are going on now. Let's see, they're more in line, it's more in line with the goals of the comprehensive plan than the current use. I would, you know, in the staff report, we say it is. The use scale and density are consistent with what could be achieved through a zone change application. We don't want to really entertain a zone change necessarily here. I think this accomplishes the goals of Chesterfield to have an office use for their operation. It will create a nice buffer and revegetation along South Country Road. And,
I think it's also worth mentioning that Janice, Mr. Lombardi, Mr. Allen, you did attend a CAC West meeting where you met with the community and you talked about this proposal, and it seemed as if there was positive feedback. Nobody really had any concerns about this. In fact, there were actually positive comments made that the storage would be removed and a nice office building would be constructed there, which is more sightly for the community. I mean, would you want to comment on any of that, or?
Well, one of the things is that in the R40 zone, which is the underlying zoning district here, a building setback for principal structure is 60 feet. The existing building is 55 feet, and this proposed building is 75 feet from the road.
Right.
So we push it back further. There are 2 entrance points along South Country Road that'll be combined into one entrance point.
So all the trucks will be going in same as the cars, going to the office, or you have separate?
All of our large equipment will be using the entrance that it does now, not the entrance that is proposed for
This
the
is
office.
mainly just for the office.
Exactly. We'll be taking, you know, FedEx trucks will be the largest vehicle going
That's
in
good.
there.
Just wanted to make a point of that.
And the parking is located behind the building, so there'll be ample room for revegetation and restoring areas that have been disturbed, as most of the site has already been disturbed.
I think it's a huge improvement on what's there.
the planning board may want to rejigger this a little bit, because they usually like, you know, but conceptually.
What do you have there behind the building? Is that's all parking spaces?
This is the parking area. So it's
It's 1 per
screened from the
180,
road.
the parking requirement. You know, and then the board goes on, I mean, the staff report just, you know, basically says that you'll refer it if you want to entertain this. We'll put it on for public hearing, do that notice, it gets referred to Suffolk County Planning and the Planning Board and the ARB, we can have some input. And, basically, as a if you go from one non-conforming to another, it's still a non-conforming use in office, so you're still subject to, like, the expansion rules, you can't, you know, you're still non-conforming, even though it's a different type of nonconformity. And that's really, we do recommend that this move forward. We see no reason why not, but.
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with it.
Good.
I mean,
Yep, absolutely.
Great.
it's nice looking. It's a good project.
Easy.
Thank you.
Thank you for helping with the light bulb. Yes, a couple years ago.
Oh, yes.
That's a good building. That's the design.
That is a great building.
Yeah.
It's,
You gotta tell Nick, he's probably watching.
that's a great one to look at too. And the Mezaneski building is also beautiful, so that was a great reference.
And your company, your dad specifically, is always so helpful in the community.
Yeah.
With various things.
And I definitely want to keep that going and be able to play well within the community. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been here my whole life. You know, got, so.
Thank you.
Great,
Thank
so I'll
you.
have this on for the December 18th agenda.
Yes.
Great.
December
Wonderful.
18th to schedule a public hearing for the,
Is that a regular meeting?
yeah,
Yeah.
you can,
What
but
is that?
the
To
public
schedule a
hearing.
hearing in January.
Yeah, but it has to be the last meeting in January, just because of the timing of the
Oh, yeah.
press.
Publications. I think the 27th, yeah.
Yeah, 27th. Yep. January 27th.
Great.
I thought we-
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. And thank you, and our apologies again for keeping you waiting.
Oh, that was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, Janice again.
All
Staying
right.
put, I'm on the
Now
next.
what? We
I'll
have
pass them down.
another
You just
topic
throw
of,
them in. Thanks.
so the next topic is construction of private docks in Peconic Bay.
We have this already, actually.
Janice Shear is with us
I'm
again.
joined by Kelly Doyle.
Kelly
I'm
Doyle.
sorry her name did not appear on the agenda.
That's okay.
Kelly, I think is better poised to discuss this than me. You want to go through the points? But I brought the water protection plan, and we brought this to Councilman Powell's attention.
very excited about
Councilman
this.
Isley has also been very concerned about different objectives in Little Peconic and Great Peconic Bay, just about, there's been concerns about marinas and conflicting in-water uses and docks and certain things. And we have an issue with the Department of State weighing in, so we've taken a look at this and,
This is, just to make it clear so people who are watching, this is docks in the bay, not in the creeks
right.
or inland. It's all on the, where the beaches are, going along the shoreline where people walk. Because people get confused when you say you know, right off the bat, are you gonna outlaw docks, you know?
Right, yeah. So as drafted, the proposed amendment is fairly straightforward. It would just be to prohibit docks for residential purposes in Little Peconic Bay and Great Peconic Bay. And the reasoning behind this is that, a number of reasons. Construction of docks in this area, it's not consistent with the town's coastal resources and water protection plan. It's not consistent with the goals of the Peconic Estuary Partnership. It's not consistent with the New York State Coastal Management Plan. And we do have a letter from the New York State Department of State outlining a number of reasons why they have objected to the construction of actually 2 docks in Little Peconic Bay. So the purpose of this would be
What do you mean, 2 residential docks that are already there?
They're not there. No, they are proposed.
One is there, I believe.
One's there.
Illegal without permission.
Well, there's one that is there. It was permitted by the state, but the town did not issue a permit for that one. And then there are 2 additional ones that the state has objected to now.
I think we're still in Justice Court on the one existing dock, we're in Justice Court.
So is historically, no one ever really put docks there because of the ice and such, like in the way the wave action, and now with climate change and things changing, there's a lot more. And also there was not as big homes right there. They were little seasonal
Summer
cottages.
shacks.
Now you're getting much bigger homes and proposals for really long 100-foot.
100 feet, 200 feet.
And if you, you know, one person has one, most likely their neighbors want to have one, and then it just changes the whole landscape of the Peconic Bay, because whereas it's just a nice open view now, you would have a proliferation of docks. all
So in all of Little Peconic Bay and Great Peconic Bay, there's only 1 dock, and that's the subject of litigation already because they didn't get a permit.
That's a very recent dock, right?
And
Before
rather
that,
than-
none.
Years, but maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years ago.
Rather than going through sort of everything each, we want to see what the appetite is of the board to just do a broad scale prohibition as per Councilman Powell, because otherwise we'll be fighting each and every one, and once a precedent is set, then you've lost.
I mean, if you look at it, then for the environmental, it changes the water flow. It's like having a jetty out there. It changes the wind, how the wind hits the shore. It changes the view shed. And all you do, I mean, you can build 40 of them, or 30 of them, or 20 of them. All you need is one cold winter, what we might get now, and the ice comes, and it's like, cut them off, then you have all that debris all over the bay. I mean, if it was a thing to do, there would have been docks there already.
And not that you have to do it, but just to
Yeah.
note, the town of Southold has prohibited all residential docks in Peconic Bay as well.
Yeah.
I just have a question, because you did say that there's one that's a subject of litigation, and you mentioned setting precedent. If we were to lose that litigation, would that jeopardize this legislation at all?
No, because that would be like a grandfathering situation, but everyone else would not,
Yeah, I think we have the letter, as Kelly pointed out, this letter that was October of this year from the Department of State, really objecting to the placement of any of these docks in this area.
But
This
did
is
they
something
issue a permit for the one that's there?
they did.
The first one they did, yes.
They did, and now they're saying, now we don't want any more?
Well, because the writing's on the wall, what's about to happen, so it's better to say, what is the resource we're trying to protect and what are we trying to do, and preempt it versus fighting these on the each, so that's,
If you go on the east side of North Haven on the way to Sag Harbor, there's docks would stick out 150 feet there on a few properties. And, I mean, I try to pull up in the summertime, you can't. Your boat gets demolished with the wave action. And the people who you own those docks, they don't even use them. They just got there and sit and have a martini or have a pina colada on it, because the docks are useless, because you can't tie up, unless you have a 100-foot boat with huge bumpers.
So just to clarify, these are just docks that are off of people's properties. This has nothing to do with residential marinas.
No.
No, this is just private docks.
Yeah.
So we're suing because they didn't ask us for a permit, they didn't apply for a permit, right? But if they had applied, would we have granted it, since this was not on the books?
we do a consistency analysis of our plan, and we would, and Marty Shea has written.
I don't know how much we want to discuss what we would have or should have done, since we're
Well,
in the middle of litigation.
Right, but I'm just saying, we would look at it and most likely recommend. No, we can't control what the boards do. We can only give our recommendations.
So you're saying, more than likely, we would never, recommend a dock, so this will avoid us having to look at every single application?
Yes.
The chief environmental analyst has come out strongly against these, Marty has. And I've met with the DEC. The DEC was looking for us, for our input on this as well. But with this letter from the Department of State, I believe it currently clarifies the position, which gives us the kind of the guidance that we were, quite frankly, looking for, so. we have something.
I don't think we've
Bill,
issued
can
any
we get
permit here
support
yet.
from the trustees on this?
Yes, I spoke.
Michael, could you reach out to Peconic Estuary Partnership for support on this?
Who?
The trustees and Peconic Estuary Partnership.
I spoke to Scott a while ago, and he was for this.
Well, they're mentioned in the
Yeah.
legislation.
But it would just be nice to have something directly from him.
Well, yeah, we can refer it to whoever you want. First, we're just here, to see.
Could you send me this
Willing to hear
draft?
from the people on it.
Thank you.
I'm for it. I thank you for doing it.
Yeah, I think you could put it on. Let's just work on getting some of
And
those.
maybe can the whole board sponsor it?
You want to co-sponsor?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would maybe the whole-
Yeah,
whole board-
sounds
the
like,
whole
seems
board.
as though, based on what you're saying in the reports we
Thank you.
have and the state's position, we should do it. And Bill will get a letter of support
For
from
the
the
public hearing? Sure.
trustees, and
Yeah.
Okay, so
We've been in touch with DEC since this letter as well. DEC
I think
is
they
aware
would,
of this
no,
letter.
they would support this, I think.
Great. Gonna leave while I'm 2 for 2 here? Thank you.
Appreciate it. I did have one question. So there's something that says, speaking of non-conforming uses, there's something in the code that says we can expand a non-conforming use by 50%. And I
With the
didn't.
ZBA, up to 50%.
All right, I
through
didn't
the
ever look
ZBA.
at it, but I don't understand why, if the goal is to get rid of the non-conforming uses, why would we let anyone expand it?
Well, there's a multitude of reasons, and sometimes it's simple, and the expansion could be parking, and it makes all the sense in the world, or they're adding. It's not always 50%. It could be 10%, but you can only go up to 50% through the ZBA procedure. So they don't always give you 50%. We are always trying to move toward conformity. We want to move toward conformity, but sometimes there's some type of use that, even though it's non-conforming, the public needs it. They want it. It's there for a reason, and they need to,
do something on their site to make it more usable or something like that.
If we
So they have to
didn't-
give all that testimony to the board and make those, findings and arguments.
But if we didn't have that provision in the code, could someone still go to the ZBA to get an exemption to allow for something like that? I mean, it almost, to have it on the books seems like we're almost encouraging it or saying, you can have that. You just got to go through this process. But if we didn't have it, maybe people would be less likely to ask for it, and the board might be less likely to approve a variance.
I guess we'd have to do some data research on how much, how many people even apply under that. Is that something, is used all the time? It's as every time it's a relief valve, right? So it makes our rules constitutional. It gives us the ability to regulate by giving people the ability to get relief.
We can take a look at when that was put in and the purpose of it at the time.
Yeah, that too. But we can take a look at it,
What, expanding
non-conforming, then if you took it away, someone could make an application for relief and ask for up to 100% expansion.
Right, that's the
We've
al-
capped it
Right,
at
it's a-
50.
it's a restriction as well, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you say, well, you can only do 25% or something, but to take it away entirely would give somebody the ability to
Open the door.
to 100% expansion or something like that. So we've had kind of a line there, but we can absolutely look at
I
it.
think like with anything that's, if it's non-conforming and it's there and it's a use and it's, you have to be able to grow your business to some extent too. I mean, you get more population, business changes, so to potentially take a multi-generational family business and say you can't expand at all is, because you're non-conforming.
Right, we always want
hard.
them to be in a place where they are conforming, but what happens is, over time, more residential creeps in, no matter where you are, even in the LI area, because that's the most highest and best use, that's what people want. So they put houses near things, and then you end up with conflicts, and those things happen. But we're happy to look at that, and that's a good comp plan update thing.
Oh, good. All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Anytime, thank you.
Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you, Ken.
Hey, can you just shut that computer off so it's not dinging in our ears over here? Thank
I
you.
thought we fixed that. Well, now we're back on schedule. What do you know? Okay, so that brings us to our town council and supervisor updates. I don't remember where we started last time, but.
I only have one, so I'll get it out of the way. So tomorrow night at SYS, Southampton Youth Bureau has their Glow Night, which is a very popular night, grades 6 through 12. Starts at 7:30, ends at 10, and get there early, $10 admission for kids. It's glow-in-the-dark basketball, as well as a ton of other activities.
Yesterday.
Okay, thank you.
Yesterday, the board was up in West Hampton to throw some dirt around and had a groundbreaking for West Hampton Senior and Youth Center, which was very exciting. It was a long time coming. While I was up there a few days before that, looking at the site, a couple of people stopped me about the Casa Banco restaurant. Want to know if it was going to sit there for another 20 years and just fall apart.
Yes.
And I said, most likely.
No.
And so I asked, what's the status of it? And we're in the process of hiring LRO engineer for access, about plan to ensure the proper disposal of the hazardous material, what's in the building. What is, in other words, it's in the process of getting ready to get demo permits.
Yeah, they have to check for asbestos.
Yeah, asbestos, yeah.
And then I'm sure it's gonna come down, and then they'll
Yeah.
do what they have to do with the
And then
historic structure.
Then the deputy highway person, Mark Breger, who works very hard for us, I met him at Tuckahoe School yesterday morning at 8 o'clock, and to improve the sidewalks around that school, make them a little bit longer, go up around the corner. That's going to be done probably in the next 3 or 4 weeks. Then maybe next year, go a little bit more down the corner, and maybe a little bit up North McGee Street. He's also making it a wider left turn on South McGee Street where the gas station and the electrical place is. I'll make it easier for flow out and for parking. And then the town hall, update on the town hall outside project we're doing on. Peter stopped me today because he knew I was very concerned when I walked around that I saw paint dripping on the bricks. And he said he was already on it, and the contractor promised him that they would clean up where they painted where the white and the bricks hit, not get the white paint on the bricks to make it look like it's a nice job. But overall, the buildings, they're a little bit ahead of schedule. They're doing a nice job.
Can I ask you a question, Bill?
Yeah.
The wrought iron outside of these windows, it's already got rust coming through it.
Yeah.
Are they gonna redo those?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we went around.
Is that just the prime coat?
Yeah, I think it was just a prime coat, and Peter's very good. He knows I'm gonna be walking around, so he's doing it before I'm walking around, so he beats me to the punch, so I have nothing to talk to him about. He's
Smart
right
man.
on it. Let's see, hopefully the public safety building's gonna be done, be taken down soon.
We have that public hearing scheduled.
Yeah, the SYS roof guards are done.
Oh, great.
So that's all, that's another project's all
Time
finished.
for any snow.
Yes. And then I spoke to the head bay constable, Al, and also the trustees, Timmy Wilson, who's the head of the maintenance there. They're in the, the people think, oh, it's the winter time, they take it easy. They're in the process of looking at the pump out boats and see what they have to be fixed. A couple of them are gonna go back to the person who made them, they have to be redo. They had, the Bay Constables, I asked them how many violations and tickets they gave out in the past year. And they said that up to date, they're up to a little bit over 1,500. They had 4 BWI, and they had the first one, what was the Lena law, BWI in New York State, so that was kind of exciting, but also kind of sad. And they're just busy doing stuff around the bay and fixing their equipment. And that's it for me.
Thank you. Well, as you mentioned, it was great fun yesterday doing the groundbreaking. I'm glad we could all be there for the new West Hampton Community Center, and it's going to be a nice place for the seniors, for food service and fellowship, and then for the youth to have a safe, structured place to go, and space for the American Legion. So I'm so pleased that we were able to move forward with this project.
And have a meeting there. We should have the
Yeah,
first.
we'll have the meeting.
First big meeting, there should be the town meeting.
And after the groundbreaking, I went to an East End Supervisors and Mayors meeting, and the Chief Kiernan came and spoke with all the supervisors and mayors about the Handle with Care project, and everybody was very interested, and they want to coordinate and look into doing that in their schools. And also, he talked to us about e-bikes and the rules on that, and, they're going to get together and maybe pass some local laws with some additional restrictions to give more enforcement ability. And that's it for me, Michael.
Yeah, so very briefly, I did attend the Big Duck lighting yesterday. Town clerk Sunday Schermeyer was there. Our county executive Ed Romaine was there. Legislator Stark was there. Suffolk Parks did such a nice job. Deputy Commissioner Jason Smagan and his crew, I just want to thank them. The community really had a great time. There was a big traffic jam because of Santa.
A lot of people tried to get there.
So apologize on that. I do want to mention that the Noyak Civic is partnering up with Cornell Cooperative Extension Saturday morning at 10 a.m. at Long Beach, Foster Memorial Park, for a shoreline restoration event. They'll be doing some, they're going to be planting some native species and grasses. That they do this every year. and just to raise awareness of coastal erosion and native plantings for our youth. So I recommend, if you have some time, come on out Saturday morning.
Oh, and also, I forgot, but Saturday, there's a lot of holiday festivities. East Quogue is having their holiday on Main, West Hampton Beach is having the tree lighting, and also Quogue is having the tree lighting, so everybody's
Really
picked the same day.
sad that they do that,
I
because,
know.
you know, as a mom, when I had one in East Quogue and one in West Hampton, you had to pick which kid's tree lighting you're gonna go to. It's
Yeah.
really not fun. So you took that. We're doing East Quogue Holiday on Main is this Saturday. It's a town-sponsored event. It's really great. They usually have over 1,000 people come. They have lots of vendors, food, lots of free events for the kids, Santa. The East Quogue Fire Department is selling Christmas trees. And it's great because you can go there and you can tag the tree that you want, and then they deliver it to you the next day. So you don't
Who
even
does
have
that?
to take it with you. The East Quogue Fire Department.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's just so people know that Montauk Highway will be shut down between, I believe, Vale and Lewis Road from 1 until 7. So there will be some traffic detours around that area, and so now you'll know why. We did have, this past week, we had the ribbon cutting for the exercise trail at the Maritime Park. It was a really fun event. Jim Dreeben and his bridge walkers were there, and they're already using the equipment. I think that was his second visit of the day. So they're very excited. The Parks Department did arrange for a free clinic for people to sign up for and take. It was actually the woman that helped Christopher Reeve walk again. So it's to show people how to use their body weight in different ways to make the equipment more difficult or easier based on their ability. There are some very accessible units there. There's a hand bike that you can roll right up to in a wheelchair, and some other things that are most of the equipment is all accessible in some way or another or adaptable to people with disabilities. So it's really a great thing.
Cute picture of the two of you on some of the equipment.
With Daryl.
With Daryl.
Daryl. And then I am currently working with legislator Welker. We're trying to make sure now that I'm sure you've heard the Smith Point Bridge is one lane in each direction. It's basically a one-way bridge. We're trying to make sure that Ponquag Bridge remains a priority and it stays on the schedule for the spring and it gets done. I have compiled letters from members of the fishing fleet, the Parks Department, and also the fire departments as to why it's necessary that that bridge regains its full weight limit as soon as possible, so.
And the county has said that they know it's a priority for us. But
we're
that
just-
certainly helps to have all those
Yeah, we
letters.
just want to keep it forefront and keep the pressure on so that, money isn't moved around or.
Yeah.
And since you mentioned Legislator Welker, I just want to also mention Legislator Welker brought myself, Charlie, the Noyak Civic, together to discuss the community really wants to see a roundabout on Noyak Road and Long Beach Road. And the county is committing to put forth a budget request for a feasibility study in '27. To determine whether or not they can do a roundabout at that intersection. So that is a good step because previously they said they weren't going to do one. So now they're looking at potentially seeing what the feasibility will determine.
Very good.
And I missed Santa at the Big Duck because I was celebrating my 25th wedding anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
25. Yeah.
You'd be out by now.
All right, well, if no one has any other comments or concerns, then
Tell him that.
I move to close the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
And go.
Oh, what?
And go.
Into executive session to discuss, oh my gosh,
Confidential legal advice.
acquisitions, and I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next week.